My child, stop what you are doing and listen to me carefully. This is not a message you can afford to brush aside. Time is running out, and if your spirit hath been restless, tired, delayed, or trapped in the same cycle, this word is for you. I need you to stay with me all the way to the end, because what begins as a warning is about to become a rescue, and what feels heavy right now is carrying the answer your heart has been needing. Do not click away, do not scroll past, and do not treat this like another emotional moment you can revisit later. This message is reaching for the exact place in you that has been wavering, and what you do with it will matter more than you realize. Stay here. Listen closely, because before this is over, you are going to know exactly why heaven stopped you here today. My beloved child, I need you to slow down and stay with me right here, because what is happening in this moment is far more important than you realize. You may think you simply paused for a second, glanced at a title, or happened to land on these words while your mind was somewhere else, but I want you to understand something very clearly. You did not arrive here by chance. You did not drift into this moment because of an accident, and you are not reading these words because the timing just happened to line up. I have been watching you. I have been following the quiet ache in your heart, the places where you have been trying to keep going while something inside you has been wearing thin. I know how quickly your thoughts move, how often you push yourself through the day, how many things you carry that no one else truly sees. I know the outer version of you that people are familiar with, the one that answers, smiles, works, handles responsibilities, tries to stay composed, and keeps functioning even when your inner world feels much heavier than anyone around you would ever guess. But I also know the part of you that gets alone and feels the pressure settle in. I know the moments when the noise fades and your mind starts circling the same burdens again. I know the thoughts you do not say out loud. I know how tired you are of feeling like you have to be okay when deep down you are stretched thin. That is why I am speaking to you like this now. I am not interrupting your life to burden you further. I am interrupting you because I love you too much to let you keep moving at this pace without hearing what your soul has needed for longer than you have admitted. You keep telling yourself there will be another time to really listen, another day to really pray, another moment to really stop and face what is happening inside you. You have pushed so much into the future because the present has felt too full, too painful, or too demanding. But I am telling you with the tenderness of a father who knows exactly what you need. This is not the moment to delay again. You do not need another distraction. You do not need one more thing to numb what is going on in your heart. You do not need another temporary comfort that helps you get through the next hour while leaving the deeper emptiness untouched. You need me. You need my voice to reach you in the place where you have been quietly unraveling while still trying to look strong. You need my presence to settle over the thoughts that have been racing. You need my truth to break through the heaviness you have been carrying so long that it has started to feel normal. And I want you to hear me clearly. I am not speaking to you because you are in trouble with me. I am speaking to you because you matter to me. I am speaking because your heart has been under strain, and I can see how close you are to becoming numb in places where I want to bring life back again. I am speaking because there are moments in your life that carry more weight than they seem to at first, and this is one of those moments. You may not fully understand it yet, but something inside you already knows this is different. That pull you feel, that quiet pause inside your chest, that sense that you should not rush past this, that is not your imagination. That is me. I am drawing you closer because there are things I need to show you, things you have been missing while trying so hard just to get through the day. And before you go any further, before you scroll away emotionally or mentally, before you talk yourself out of what your spirit is already sensing, I need you to let this truth settle in. This moment was prepared for you. I have not lost sight of you. I have not stepped back from your life. I have not ignored your silent questions, your private exhaustion, or the ache that has been sitting underneath your routines. I am here, closer than you think, and I am asking you not to treat this like just another passing moment. I want you to stay with me because what I am beginning in you right now is not small, and if you let me speak fully, you will start to understand why your heart has been restless. You will start to see why the things you thought would satisfy you have not been enough. You will start to feel why this interruption is actually mercy reaching you before you go one step further without the peace you have been trying to live without. You have spent longer than you realize trying to function on the outside, while something inside you has been asking for help. And I want to speak directly into that hidden place now. I know you have become skilled at moving forward even when you are drained. I know you have learned how to keep your responsibilities going even when your spirit feels underfed. I know you have told yourself that maybe what you feel is just stress, maybe it is just life. Maybe this is simply what adulthood feels like. Maybe everyone is this tired. Maybe everyone is this mentally crowded. Maybe everyone carries this low-grade heaviness and just learns how to live with it. But my child, not everything you have normalized is meant to remain in your life. Not every burden you have accepted is something I ever asked you to carry. Not every pattern you have settled into is healthy just because it became familiar. Some of what you have been calling normal is actually a sign that your soul has been neglected while the rest of your life kept demanding more from you. Some of what you have been calling strength is actually survival. Some of what you have been calling resilience is actually exhaustion that has gone unaddressed for too long. And because I know that, I will not stay silent while you keep pushing through on empty. I need you to understand that this is not about me demanding performance from you. I am not here to lecture you about everything you should have done differently. I am not standing over you with disappointment, keeping score of your delays, your inconsistencies, or your distracted moments. That is not how I am meeting you right now. I am meeting you the way a loving father meets a child who has been carrying too much for too long and has started to mistake depletion for normal life. I am coming close because I can see where the cracks are forming, even if nobody else can. I can see the emotional fatigue. I can see how much of your energy is spent managing what you feel instead of actually being restored. I can see the quiet sadness you sometimes cannot even name. I can see the little moments when you feel detached from yourself, when you wonder why the things around you no longer bring the comfort they used to, when you keep hoping that one more change, one more answer, one more breakthrough, one more external shift will finally bring peace. But peace does not arrive because you rearranged your circumstances perfectly. Peace comes when you let me back into the places where you have been trying to cope without me. That is why I am asking you not to rush. This is not the time to skim over what your spirit is already reacting to. This is not the time to say, I'll come back to this later, because later is how you have postponed so much of what I have already tried to bring close to you. There have been other moments when I nudged you. There have been times when something in you felt unsettled and you could not quite explain why. There were moments when you sensed I was trying to get your attention, but because life was loud, because your mind was crowded, because your heart was tired, you kept moving. I understand that. I know why you did it. But I also know the cost of continuing that pattern, and I do not want you to keep paying it. You are too precious to me to keep living disconnected from the very peace you keep asking me for. You are too loved to keep starving the deepest part of yourself while feeding everything else around you. You are too important for me to let you believe this is just another day, another message, another passing feeling that will disappear if you ignore it long enough. I want you to hear this in the most personal way possible. I am speaking to you because I want you back in the place where your heart can breathe again. I want you back in the place where you are no longer just enduring your days but actually walking with me through them. I want you back in the place where your thoughts are not constantly running ahead of your peace. I want you back in the place where you do not have to keep pretending you are fine while silently wearing down inside. That is why I have interrupted you. That is why I am holding your attention. That is why this moment feels heavier than usual. And if you stay with me through it, if you stop resisting the stillness and let my voice reach deeper than your surface thoughts, you will begin to understand that this was never random. This was me coming for your heart before your exhaustion convinced you to live without what only I can give. My beloved child, stay with me here and do not move too quickly past what you are feeling, because there is a reason this moment feels heavier than the ordinary moments you have grown used to. I know how easy it is for you to dismiss what stirs inside you. I know how often you explain away the deeper things because life has trained you to keep functioning before you keep feeling. But I want you to stop doing that right now. Be still. Let yourself notice what is happening in your heart. Pay attention to the weight pressing gently against your spirit, because it is not there to crush you. It is there to wake you. You have felt light things before, casual words, passing thoughts, distractions that come and go like dust in the wind. This is not that. This carries weight because I am in it. This carries depth because I am touching places in you that the world has been unable to reach. You may not have language for it yet, but you know when something lands deeper than the surface. You know when a moment refuses to stay shallow. You know when your breathing changes, when your thoughts pause, when something inside you whispers, "Do not ignore this." That whisper matters. Do not brush it aside. Do not reduce it to emotion. Do not call it coincidence just because you are afraid of what it might mean if it is truly me. I am speaking with purpose, and the heaviness you feel is the kind of holy weight that comes when truth arrives in a place that has been carrying too much for too long. You have been living under so much internal pressure that even your quiet moments have not really been quiet. You sit down, but your mind keeps running. You lie down, but your heart does not fully rest. You finish one task and immediately feel the next one leaning over your shoulder. You answer people while something inside you remains unanswered. You move through the day, but your soul is still waiting for a real moment of peace. That kind of life leaves a residue on you. It builds slowly, almost invisibly, until one day you realize that you are not simply tired in your body, you are tired in your spirit. And that is why this moment feels so heavy. It is not because I am placing more weight on you. It is because my presence is colliding with all the weight you have been carrying in silence. I am putting my hand on what you have tried to hide from others and sometimes even from yourself. I am touching the pressure you have normalized. I am stirring the places you buried beneath business, beneath responsibility, beneath habits that help you cope but do not help you heal. I want you to hear me carefully. The heaviness is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that something real is happening in you. When truth enters a crowded room, it changes the atmosphere. When my voice reaches a place you have protected for a long time, it can feel intense because it is no longer letting you drift. This is not a casual interruption. This is a sacred interruption. This is me stepping into the middle of your noise and saying, "Come here. Stay close. Let me show you what has been going on beneath everything you have been calling normal. And I need you to receive this without fear. Do not tense up. Do not pull away. Open your heart. Breathe slowly. Let me sit with you in this. Let me walk through the heaviness with you instead of making you carry it alone for one more day. You do not have to solve it before you bring it to me. You do not have to organize your emotions before I will meet you in them. You do not need polite words. You need honesty. You need willingness. You need the courage to admit that this weight has been real and that you are finally ready to let me touch it. So stay. Keep listening. Lean in instead of withdrawing. What you feel is not random. It is not meaningless. It is the kind of holy pressure that comes before something inside you begins to shift. And if you let me continue, you will discover that this heaviness is not the end of your peace. It is the doorway to it. I want to go deeper with you now, because there is more beneath this than you realize, and I do not want you to miss the lesson hidden inside the weight. You have learned how to live around your pain instead of through it. You have learned how to adapt to inner strain so well that sometimes you no longer notice how much it is shaping your decisions. You tell yourself you are just being practical, but sometimes you are simply being guarded. You tell yourself you are being realistic, but sometimes you are bracing for disappointment before it even arrives. You tell yourself you are being strong, but sometimes you are just exhausted and trying to make exhaustion look noble because you do not know what else to call it. I say this with tenderness, not accusation. I am not exposing you to embarrass you. I am uncovering what has been hidden so I can heal what has been neglected. That is why this moment feels serious. That is why these words are not bouncing off the surface of you. They are sinking down into the places where you keep your private battles. They are moving toward the room inside you where the unspoken things live. The things you never fully explained to anyone because you were not sure they would understand. I understand. I know the memories that still sting when they pass through your mind. I know the disappointments you act like you are over even though part of your heart still reacts to them. I know the subtle fears that have started shaping your expectations. I know how certain losses changed the way you trust. I know how betrayal made you quieter in some places and more defensive in others. I know how long you have been trying to hold yourself together while asking almost no one to hold space for what hurts. It does something to a person. It creates a heaviness that settles into the background of life until it becomes familiar. And when something becomes familiar, you stop questioning it. You stop challenging it. You stop bringing it into the light. But I am calling it into the light now. Come with me. Do not leave this buried. Do not cover it again. Do not retreat into the same old emotional corners and tell yourself you will deal with it later. Later hath been stealing too much from you. Let this be the moment where you stop calling your wounds personality. Stop calling your emotional numbness maturity. Stop calling your inner chaos just how life is. Let me name things truthfully so you can finally become free. This is where the high weight of truth becomes a gift, because once you can see clearly, you can respond clearly. Once you can recognize what has been pressing on your spirit, you can stop building your life around it. Once you can admit what is really going on, you can invite me into the exact place that has needed my touch the most. So I am asking you now, no, I am inviting you and also commanding you with love. Be honest with me. Sit down with me for a moment and stop pretending this is small. Tell me where the heaviness lies. Tell me what thought keeps returning. Tell me what wound still reacts. Tell me what fear keeps stealing your peace before the day even begins. Do not clean it up first. Just bring it. Bring it into my presence. Let me hold it with you. Let me speak into it. Let me show you what belongs to this season and what has no right to keep living in your heart. Because if you let me do that, the weight will begin to change. It will stop being the pressure that silently drains you and become the turning point that finally opens your eyes. That is why this moment feels so heavy, my child. It is not because you are sinking. It is because I am calling you deeper. It is because I am not willing to leave you at the surface where you have been surviving when I created you for so much more than survival. So do not run. Stay here. Keep listening. Keep receiving. Let the heaviness do what holy heaviness does. Let it break the shallow places. Let it expose what has been hidden. Let it slow you down enough to hear me clearly. and then let it lead you into the peace that only comes when you stop resisting the truth and finally allow my love to reach all the way in. My beloved child, I need you to listen with a soft heart now, because I am going to speak to something you have felt for a long time but have not fully faced. You have delayed what your heart already knows. Deep inside, beneath the overthinking, beneath the distractions, beneath the excuses that seemed reasonable in the moment, there has been a quiet knowing in you. It has not always been loud. It has not always come with dramatic signs. Sometimes it has felt like a small nudge, a gentle discomfort, a lingering thought that would not fully go away. Sometimes it came when everything got still and you suddenly felt a kind of inner conviction you could not explain. Sometimes it showed up in the middle of something that looked fine on the outside but felt wrong in your spirit. You knew. You may not have wanted to admit it, but you knew. You knew when I was asking you to step back from something that kept draining you. You knew when a habit was becoming a hiding place instead of a harmless comfort. You knew when a relationship was pulling you farther from peace than closer to it. You knew when I was asking for your attention and you gave me only fragments. You knew when I was asking for surrender and you kept negotiating. You knew when your spirit was growing restless because what once felt acceptable no longer fit the person I was calling you to become. I am not saying this to shame you. Hear me carefully. I am not standing over you with accusation. I am sitting close to you with truth, because truth is what sets you free. And the truth is that you have spent more time delaying than you realize. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes your delay looked like busyness. Sometimes it looked like I'll think about that later. Sometimes it looked like spiritual interest without real surrender. Sometimes it looked like you saying all the right things while quietly protecting the very thing I was asking you to release. Delay does not always look rebellious. Sometimes it looks responsible. Sometimes it looks thoughtful. Sometimes it even looks spiritual on the surface. But if it keeps you from obeying what you already know, it is still delay. And the reason I am bringing this up now is because I love you too much to let you keep calling hesitation wisdom when it is actually fear wearing a polite face. You have been circling around things that should have been confronted. You have been revisiting decisions that already had clarity on them. You have been asking for more signs in places where I already gave you enough light to take the next step. I know why. I know you were afraid of what surrender might cost. I know you were afraid of losing comfort, losing connection, losing familiarity, losing control. I know part of you hoped that if you waited long enough, maybe the discomfort would fade and you would not have to make the harder choice. But what you keep delaying does not disappear. It settles. It lingers. It shapes you quietly. It steals peace by inches. And that is exactly why I am speaking now. I do not want you to keep losing pieces of yourself to a delay that feels harmless but is quietly expensive. So stop for a moment and let me ask you something that only you and I can answer honestly together. What is it that you already know? What is the thing you keep pushing aside? What conversation do you keep postponing? What change have you been sensing but resisting? What area of your life have you kept asking me about even though your heart already recognizes the answer? Be brave enough to admit it. Name it in my presence. Bring it into the light. Do not hide behind more waiting. Do not protect the very thing that is stealing your clarity. I am not asking you to have the whole future mapped out. I am asking you to stop delaying the next step you already know matters. That is where freedom begins. And I want you to understand something else, my child, because this part matters deeply. Every time you delay what your heart already knows, you teach yourself to distrust the voice inside you that recognizes me. That is why this is so important. This is not only about one decision or one habit or one relationship or one area of compromise. This is about your sensitivity to my voice. When I speak and you respond, even imperfectly, trust grows. Discernment sharpens. Peace deepens. But when I speak and you continually postpone, you do not just avoid discomfort, you slowly dull your own spiritual hearing. You start second-guessing what used to feel clear. You begin needing louder signs because you kept ignoring the gentle ones. You start living in more confusion, not because I stopped speaking, but because you trained yourself to move past what you heard. I am saying this gently, but I need you to really receive it. Some of the confusion you are wrestling with right now is not because I am being distant. Some of it is because there are things I already showed you that you have not acted on. Some of the fog in your mind is not a lack of revelation. It is unresolved obedience. Some of the heaviness you feel is not because I have abandoned you. It is because your spirit knows there are places where you are out of alignment, and it is waiting for you to stop postponing the obvious. That may sound strong, but it is strong because I love you. I am not trying to overwhelm you. I am trying to bring you back into the clean, clear space where your inner world is not constantly wrestling with what it already knows. I want you to experience the relief that comes when you stop fighting what your spirit has been carrying. I want you to feel the release that happens when you stop performing delay and finally choose honesty. So here is what I want you to do. Pause. Do not rush this. Sit with me and let the excuses fall away. You do not need to defend yourself to me. You do not need to justify every delay. You do not need to explain every reason you were afraid. I already understand your reasons. I understand your wounds. I understand your caution. I understand the ways life has made you hesitant. But understanding is not the same as permission to remain stuck. So now, I am inviting you into something stronger and cleaner and freer. Tell me the truth. Say it plainly. Lord, I know you have been showing me this. Say it. Admit what you have been avoiding. If you need to cry, then cry. If you need to sit in silence for a moment, then do it. If you need to write it down later so you stop running from it, then write it. But do not leave this unspoken. This is where change begins, not in a dramatic performance, not in emotional noise, but in a clear, surrendered yes. And I promise you, the moment you stop delaying what your heart already knows, the weight you have been carrying will begin to shift. You will feel the relief of alignment. You will feel the difference between fear-driven hesitation and spirit-led peace. You will begin to understand how much energy it has taken to keep avoiding what could have already set you free. That is why I am speaking like this now. Not to pressure you into panic, but to guide you into peace. Not to expose you for the sake of pain, but to bring hidden things into the light so healing can finally begin. You have delayed long enough, my child. You do not need to keep circling the same mountain. You do not need one more round of internal arguments. You do not need another excuse that sounds wise but leaves you empty. Come closer. Be honest. Receive the courage I am giving you right now. Then take the next step. Not tomorrow. Not after one more sign. Not after one more emotional cycle. Now, if your heart already knows, then let your life begin to follow what your spirit has been hearing all along. My beloved child, I want you to come even closer now, because this part is delicate and serious, and I need your heart open while I speak. When I tell you that time is running out, I am not trying to make you afraid of the clock on the wall or the calendar in your hand. I'm speaking about something deeper than that. I am speaking about seasons, about sacred windows, about moments of mercy that are open now but will not remain open forever in the same exact way. You have been living as though there will always be another opportunity to obey later, another chance to deal with what your spirit has been carrying, another day to fully surrender, another season to stop compromising with what keeps weakening you. But I need you to understand with all tenderness and all truth that not every moment in life carries the same invitation. Some moments are ordinary, and some moments are appointed. Some days pass quietly, and some days stand like doors. Some seasons are for preparation, and some seasons are for response. This is why I have been calling your attention so strongly. This is why these words feel heavier than a passing thought. You are standing in a moment that is not casual. You are standing in a moment that carries consequence. Not because I am angry with you, not because I am waiting to punish you if you hesitate, but because your life is moving, your heart is being shaped, and every time you delay what I am asking of you, the shape of your inner world changes. You become more accustomed to postponing peace. You become more practiced at avoiding conviction. You become more familiar with the low hum of inner unrest until it begins to feel normal. That is why I am speaking now. That is why I am asking you not to brush this aside. You think of time in terms of hours, but I also see time in terms of openness. I see when your heart is soft enough to hear me. I see when a wound is tender enough to be healed if you will finally bring it into the light. I see when the noise around you briefly quiets enough for my voice to break through. I see when the path in front of you is narrowing because repeated delay has consequences even if they arrive slowly. That is what I mean when I say time is running out in ways you cannot see. There are choices you have made that have already shaped you. There are patterns you have allowed that are already becoming stronger. There are habits of thought that are already building rooms inside your mind. There are relationships, compromises, distractions, and emotional loops that are not standing still while you figure things out. They are growing roots. They are taking space. They are becoming familiar. And the longer they stay unchallenged, the more they begin to feel like part of who you are, even when they are not. I need you to stop and recognize this. I need you to stop romanticizing delay as if it is harmless. It is not harmless when it keeps you from peace. It is not harmless when it keeps you half awake spiritually. It is not harmless when it keeps you circling the same pain instead of walking into healing. So listen to me closely. Do not keep saying later when your spirit is already asking for now. Do not keep pushing truth into the background because you are afraid of what obedience might cost. Do not keep assuming that because you still feel my tug, you can safely postpone your response without consequence. I am merciful, yes. I am patient, yes. But patience is not permission to remain unchained. Mercy is not meant to become your excuse. The window is open now. The invitation is alive now. The tenderness in your heart that is allowing you to hear this is present now. Receive that as the gift it is. Sit with me. Stay here. Stop running. Stop bargaining. Stop telling yourself you will get serious when life is calmer, when your emotions are cleaner, when you feel stronger, when the timing seems easier. Obedience rarely waits for convenience. Healing rarely begins in comfort. Transformation often starts in the exact moment when your soul is finally tired of pretending that delay is wisdom. And if you let me guide you through this moment, you will begin to understand that this urgency is not pressure meant to harm you. It is mercy moving quickly because I love you too much to let you keep sleeping through a season that was meant to wake you. I want to take you even deeper into this, my child, because if you truly understand what I am saying here, it will change how you respond to me from this day forward. There are things you cannot see with your natural eyes, but they are still shaping your life. A tree does not appear the day the seed is planted. A storm does not begin with thunder. A drift does not feel dangers at first when the water seems calm. That is how many spiritual losses happen. They are quiet. They are gradual. They do not arrive with a loud crash. They arrive with a small compromise here, a postponed surrender there, a repeated delay, a slow dulling, a familiar excuse, a private habit, a silent agreement with fear, a tiny turning away from what you already know. And then one day, you look up and realize you are farther from peace than you ever intended to be. That is why I am talking to you like this. That is why I am asking you to pay attention to what feels subtle. You have been trained by the world to only react when something becomes dramatic. But I am teaching you to notice the quiet movements that shape your soul. I am teaching you to recognize the small doors, the hidden hinges, the silent shifts. That is where wisdom grows. That is where freedom is protected. That is where your future is often decided long before the visible outcome appears. You have asked me for direction, and I am giving it to you now in a form you may not have expected. Honor the moment you are in. Respect what I am showing you while it is still clear. Do not keep asking for giant signs while ignoring the gentle guidance that has been right in front of you. The world celebrates dramatic change, but I tell you, some of the most powerful turning points happen in quiet rooms where no one is watching, where a person finally admits the truth, releases what has been poisoning them, and says yes to the next step I have already placed in front of them. That is where your life begins to shift. That is where the clock you cannot see begins to work in your favor instead of against you. So I want you to do something now. Be brave enough to stop and examine what has been slowly growing in you. Ask yourself with me beside you, what has been taking root while I kept delaying? What thought pattern has become stronger? What compromise has become more comfortable? What distraction has become a refuge? What fear has started speaking with too much authority in your inner life? Do not look away from the answer. Let me show you. Let me put light on it. Let me help you uproot what should not stay. This is why I am asking for your attention with urgency. Not because I want to alarm you, but because I want to save you from waking up later and realizing you lost years to things that were never supposed to define you. I want to rescue you from subtle spiritual sleep. I want to call you back from slow drift. I want to restore your clarity before confusion hardens into habit. That is love. That is mercy. That is my Father heart toward you. So hear me clearly and let it settle deeply. Time is running out in ways you cannot see, but that does not mean you are doomed. It means you are being invited. It means the moment is still alive. It means the door is still open. It means the grace to respond is still here. So respond. Open your hands. Open your heart. Take this seriously, but do not panic. Let urgency make you honest, not fearful. Let it make you present, not paralyzed. Let it move you toward surrender, not shame. You do not need to carry dread from this message. You need to carry direction. And the direction is simple. Even if it is not easy, stop delaying what I am making clear. Honor the holy weight of this season, and step with me now while the light is still bright enough to guide your next step. My beloved child, I need to calm something in you before we go any further, because I know how quickly your heart can become unsettled when you feel urgency. I know there is a part of you that hears strong words and immediately braces itself. You have lived through enough pain, enough disappointment, enough pressure, enough correction from broken people that sometimes even love can feel sharp when it arrives with seriousness. So let me tell you plainly and personally, this is not about fear. I am not speaking to frighten you. I am not using urgency to corner you. I am not pressing on your heart because I enjoy seeing you shaken. I am speaking this way because I am rescuing you. I am stepping into your path because I can see what you cannot fully see yet. I am intervening because I know where certain roads lead, even when they look manageable in the beginning. I am calling your name with force and tenderness at the same time because there are moments when a whisper is enough, and there are moments when love must reach a little faster. You are in one of those moments now. That does not mean you are rejected. That does not mean I am disappointed beyond repair. That does not mean you are one mistake away from losing my heart. No, my child. This is rescue. This is the kind of love that refuses to watch you drift farther without stepping in. This is the kind of care that sees you walking close to the edge while you are still telling yourself you are fine. This is the kind of father love that reaches before the fall, not just after it. You have become so used to interpreting intensity as danger that sometimes you do not recognize holy urgency when it arrives. But I want you to learn the difference. Jesussays. Rescue interrupts. Fear condemns. Rescue calls. Fear drives you into hiding. Rescue draws you closer so you can finally breathe again. That is what I am doing with you now. I am not pushing you away with these words. I am pulling you near. I am not trying to make you feel small. I am trying to protect what is precious in you before more of it gets bruised by the same patterns that have already cost you too much. Think about how often you have mistaken your coping for peace. Think about how often you have mistaken your numbness for healing. Think about how often you have mistaken your distance for strength. You have learned how to adapt to pain so skillfully that sometimes you no longer realize when you are in danger of settling into a life that is much smaller than the one I prepared for you. And if I let that continue without interruption, I would not be loving you well. I would not be caring for you as a father. So yes, I am interrupting. Yes, I am pressing in. Yes, I am asking you to stop and listen more deeply than usual. But do not mistake that for harshness. It is compassion moving with urgency. It is mercy arriving before the damage goes deeper. It is the hand of a father who sees the road ahead and refuses to let his child walk blindly into more pain if there is still time to turn. So relax your shoulders. Release the instinct to defend yourself. You do not need to protect yourself from me in this moment. Come closer instead. Let me explain what I am trying to save you from. Let me show you where you have been vulnerable. Let me uncover the places where fear has been speaking too loudly and where your own exhaustion has made certain unhealthy things feel acceptable. I am not here to shame you for any of it. I am here to lift you out of it. I am here to pull you out before what is subtle becomes strong, before what is quiet becomes consuming, before what looks manageable becomes the thing that shapes your days. That is rescue. That is why I am speaking this way. So stay soft. Stay open. Keep listening. Let my seriousness comfort you instead of threatening you, because it is proof that I am still actively protecting what belongs to me and you. And now let me speak even more personally, because I want this truth to settle into your bones and not just pass through your thoughts. There have been places in your life where you have grown too comfortable near danger simply because it did not look dramatic. Some dangers do not arrive with loud alarms. Some come wrapped in familiarity. Some come dressed like convenience. Some come disguised as relationships you are afraid to lose, habits you tell yourself are harmless, thought patterns that seem normal because you have repeated them so often, distractions that feel soothing for a moment but leave your spirit emptier afterward. That is why rescue often feels uncomfortable at first. Rescue pulls you away from what had become familiar. Rescue challenges what you had made room for. Rescue forces you to acknowledge that something you thought was helping you survive may actually be keeping you from being whole. And I know it can feel intense. I know it can feel like a strong hand on your shoulder when you were hoping for something softer. But my child, If a fire is starting behind a wall, love does not wait until the whole house is burning before it raises its voice. If a wound is getting infected under the surface, love does not smile politely and pretend everything is fine. Love tells the truth. Love acts. Love moves toward what hurts with courage. That is what I am doing. I am not asking you to be afraid of me. I am asking you to trust my motives. Trust that when I expose something, it is because I intend to heal it. Trust that when I warn you, it is because I intend to protect you. Trust that when I call you out of a pattern, it is because I have a cleaner path for you. Trust that when I urge you to stop delaying, it is because I know what continued delay would cost you. You have already lost enough peace. You have already given enough energy to confusion. You have already spent enough nights carrying weights you were never meant to hold. I do not want you to keep paying that price. So receive this with the right understanding. I am rescuing you from slow erosion. I am rescuing you from subtle compromises. I am rescuing you from the quiet ways fear hath been shaping your choices. I am rescuing you from the belief that because you can function, you must be fine. You are not meant to merely function. You are meant to live close to me, clear in spirit, honest in heart, able to recognize my voice without drowning in internal static. That is what I want for you. That is what this is about. So let me give you a practical invitation right now. Stop resisting my help. Stop interpreting conviction as rejection. Stop defending what is draining you. Stop holding on to the things I am touching simply because they have become familiar. Come out of hiding. Bring me the area you know I am talking about. Bring me the thing you feel nervous to release. Bring me the pattern you keep excusing. Bring me the fear that keeps making you delay. Bring it close. Put it in my hands. Sit with me long enough for your nervous system to realize that my urgency is not an attack. It is a rescue rope. It is a doorway. It is a father saying, "Come here now before this goes further than it should." And if you will trust me enough to take hold of that, you will begin to feel something change. Not all at once in every visible circumstance, perhaps, but deeply and unmistakably within you. The panic will lose some of its grip. The fog will begin to thin. The inner wrestling will start to quiet. You will realize that what felt intense at first was actually love moving quickly on your behalf. So hear me one more time and let it settle gently. This is not about fear. It is about rescue. It is about me refusing to leave you where the danger is subtle but real. It is about me loving you enough to reach before the damage deepens. It is about me calling you back before you drift farther. It is about me, your Father, seeing what is ahead and saying with all the tenderness and strength in my heart, "Do not keep walking there. Come with me instead. My beloved child, come closer and let me speak into the places you have learned to keep hidden, because I know there is a battle inside you that very few people truly see. People see the version of you that keeps going. They see the face you wear when you answer messages, show up to responsibilities, make it through conversations, and carry yourself with enough strength that most assume you are managing. They see what is visible. They see what is presentable. They see what you have learned to offer the world so you can keep moving without having to explain what is really happening underneath. But I see the hidden war. I see the strain behind the smile. I see the fatigue behind the focus. I see the quiet ache beneath the surface when you are doing everything you can to stay composed. I know what it costs you to keep functioning when your inner world feels crowded, conflicted, and tired. I know how often you tell yourself, "Just get through today," and then you do the same thing tomorrow. I know the mental load you carry that no one applauds because no one even knows it is there. I know how many times you have swallowed your real feelings because it seemed easier than explaining them. I know how many nights you have lain down exhausted but not truly rested, because your body was still while your mind kept moving. I know the private tears, the silent tension, the conversations you rehearse in your head, the regret you revisit, the fears that speak when everything gets quiet. I know how much of your life is spent trying to manage what other people never even realize is pressing on you. That matters to me. It matters more than you think. And I want you to stop for a moment and receive this deeply. You are not invisible in this. You are not unseen because others miss it. You are not alone because nobody around you fully understands. I understand. I see the hidden battle with perfect clarity. I know the places where you are fighting to stay hopeful while discouragement keeps tapping at the door. I know the areas where you are trying to stay faithful while disappointment has made your heart cautious. I know the places where you are trying to trust me while part of you is tired of waiting, tired of wrestling, tired of caring so much without obvious relief. I know where shame still whispers, where fear still tightens your chest, where old wounds still influence your present reactions even when you wish they did not. That is why I am speaking so personally right now. I am not speaking to the public version of you. I am speaking to the hidden places. I am speaking to the side of you that sits in the dark sometimes and wonders why this feels harder than it looks. I am speaking to the place in you that has been silently asking, does anyone really see how much I am carrying? Yes, my child. I see it. I see the pressure points. I see the weariness. I see the places where you have become so used to surviving that you almost forgot what peace feels like when it settles deeply instead of visiting briefly. So stop hiding from me. Stop acting as if I only care about the polished parts. Bring me the hidden battle. Bring me the mental noise. Bring me the memories that still sting. Bring me the triggers you do not talk about. Bring me the fears that make you overthink. Bring me the heaviness that follows you from room to room. Do not minimize it. Do not say, it is probably nothing. If it is touching your peace, it matters. If it is shaping your reactions, it matters. If it is draining your spirit, it matters. Come sit with me and let me look at it with you. Let me name what you have been normalizing. Let me show you what has been quietly stealing from you. Let me help you stop calling constant internal pressure just life when some of it is pain that needs healing, some of it is fear that needs confronting, and some of it is spiritual exhaustion that needs my presence more than another distraction. You do not need to keep fighting this hidden war as if being strong means being silent. Real strength is honesty in my presence. Real strength is letting me touch what you have tried to manage alone. Real strength is allowing my light into the places you thought you had to keep covered. So breathe. Acknowledge. Tell me the truth. Say, Lord, this is what I have been carrying. Say it plainly. Say it in tears if you need to. Say it in silence if words feel hard. But do not leave this hidden anymore. I am already there, and I am not turning away. I want you to stay with me here a little longer, because there is something I need you to understand about the hidden battle you are fighting. The danger is not only in the pain itself. The danger is in how long you have been carrying it without letting it be truly addressed. When something remains hidden for too long, it starts shaping your instincts. It becomes the quiet architect of your choices. It teaches you how to brace before joy, how to expect disappointment before it arrives, how to hold back when love gets close, how to stay busy so you do not have to feel, how to avoid stillness because stillness lets the ache speak. This is how hidden battles begin to govern entire seasons of life without ever being named. And because they are hidden, you start thinking that this is simply your personality, your wiring, you're normal. But my child, not everything familiar is yours to keep. Some things only stayed because they were never challenged in the light. Some things gained power because you kept carrying them in secret. Some things still feel large because you never fully let me speak over them with the truth they needed. I am not telling you this to make you feel exposed. I am telling you this because I am inviting you into a better way of living. I want to free you from the exhausting loop of looking fine while quietly fraying. I want to rescue you from the silent scripts running in the background of your mind. I want to help you notice how the hidden battle has been influencing your relationships, your reactions, your patience, your trust, your sleep, your joy, even your ability to receive love without suspicion. This is why I keep bringing you back to honesty. This is why I keep calling you closer instead of letting you stay at the surface. If you only bring me the version of you that sounds strong, you will keep missing the healing I am trying to give to the version of you that is actually hurting. So I am asking more of you now, and I want you to feel the invitation and the command together. Stop pretending you can outlast this by sheer endurance. Stop assuming the hidden battle will fade if you keep ignoring it. Stop treating the ache like background noise. Stop making peace with patterns that were born from pain. Come into the light with me. Let me teach you how to identify what is fear and what is wisdom. Let me show you where trauma taught you to protect yourself in ways that now block peace. Let me help you separate discernment from suspicion, caution from captivity, resilience from emotional numbness. You need that clarity. You need that clean separation. You need that holy honesty. And I promise you, once you let me into the hidden battle fully, you will start to feel something shift in ways that matter. You will not have to perform for me. You will not have to impress me with how well you are holding up. You will be able to rest in the relief of being fully known. That relief is not small. It is powerful. It is healing. It is the kind of internal exhale you have needed for longer than you realize. So do this now, my child. Make room. Shut down the inner performance. Lay down the polished language. Tell me what hurts. Tell me what exhausts you. Tell me what you fear might never change. Tell me where your thoughts sit dark, restless, or tangled. Invite me into the real room, not the clean room. Let me meet the real you, because that is the you I have been speaking to all along. And once you do, do not run back into hiding when relief begins. Stay with me. Return to me. Let this become a practice, not a one-time release. The hidden battle loses power when it is repeatedly brought into my presence instead of repeatedly managed in secret. That is how the stronghold weakens. That is how clarity grows. That is how your soul begins to breathe again. I see what no one else sees, and I am not intimidated by any of it. I am not overwhelmed by your inner complexity. I am not discouraged by how long you have carried it. I am your Father. I know exactly where the wound is, and I know exactly how to begin healing it. So let me. Stay close. Keep listening. Keep opening. The hidden battle is not the end of your story. It is the place where my healing can begin if you finally stop hiding it from the one who has seen it all along. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with gentleness, because I am not criticizing you when I say it. I am caring for you. You have been running on empty for far too long. You have been pouring out from a place that has not been properly filled. You have been trying to meet demands, answer needs, manage responsibilities, carry emotional weight, and maintain appearances while your inner reserves have been thinning little by little. You know this, even if you have not fully admitted it. There is a tiredness in you that goes beyond sleep. There is a weariness in you that no nap can fix, no short break can solve, no quick distraction can truly touch. It is deeper than that. It is the kind of exhaustion that settles into your spirit when you keep giving from a place that has not been replenished. And because you are capable, because you are responsible, because you have learned how to keep moving even when you are not truly okay, you have gotten very good at surviving on fumes. You can do it. You can push through. You can make it look manageable. You can carry one more thing, answer one more request, show up one more time, hold it together one more day. But capability is not the same as health. Endurance is not the same as peace. Functioning is not the same as flourishing. I need you to stop confusing those things. I need you to stop calling survival normal when your soul is quietly asking for rescue. There is a reason you feel restless even when things look fine from the outside. There is a reason you feel mentally crowded even when nothing dramatic is happening in the moment. There is a reason little things affect you more than they used to. There is a reason your patience runs thin faster, your joy feels less accessible, your heart feels less light, your thoughts feel heavier, and your spirit feels more fragile than you want to admit. It is because you have been running on empty. You have been trying to live a full life with an undernourished soul. You have been trying to keep pouring without truly receiving. You have been trying to carry what I never asked you to carry, while neglecting the one place that would actually strengthen you if you let me in. I am not saying this to make you feel guilty. I am saying it because I want to wake you up to the real source of your depletion. You keep looking at your circumstances and thinking, if this changes, I will finally feel better. Sometimes circumstances do matter. Sometimes adjustments are needed. But many times the deeper issue is not just what is happening around you. It is what has been missing within you. You have let the world set the pace, and it is too fast for your soul. You have let pressure dictate your rhythm, and it is too harsh for your spirit. You have let responsibilities pile so high that you forgot you are not a machine. You are my child. You were not created to be endlessly efficient and emotionally starved. You were not made to live in a constant state of output without sacred input. You were not designed to keep pressing forward while the deepest part of you goes thirsty. So I am asking you now, stop. Pause. Step back for a moment and be honest about your condition. Do not hide behind productivity. Do not use business as a badge. Do not keep telling yourself you are just tired if what you really are is spiritually depleted. Sit with me and tell the truth. Say, Lord, I have been empty. Admit it. There is no shame in that confession. There is freedom in it. There is clarity in it. There is the beginning of restoration in it. Once you stop pretending you are fine, I can begin to refill what has been drained. Once you stop glorifying your grind, I can begin to restore your rhythm. Once you stop worshiping endurance, I can teach you how to receive. That is what you need right now. Not one more strategy to keep going harder. Not one more temporary comfort that gives relief for a moment and leaves you emptier later. You need to be filled. You need to be restored. You need to come back to the well instead of trying to squeeze water from dry ground. And I want to take you deeper into this, because running on empty does not only make you tired, it changes how you see, how you feel, and how you respond to life. When you are depleted long enough, your discernment gets blurry. Your emotions become more reactive. Your pain soars. Your hope gets quieter. Your inner world starts operating in low power, and suddenly things that should feel clear start feeling complicated. You become more vulnerable to fear, more sensitive to disappointment, more tempted by escape, more likely to reach for whatever gives fast relief even if it leaves long-term damage. This is why your emptiness matters so much. This is why I keep calling you back to me. Because an empty soul becomes an easy target. When you are dry, Anything that promises comfort starts looking attractive. When you are worn thin, unhealthy things can feel necessary simply because they numb the ache for a little while. You already know this in your own experience. You know what you reach for when you are overwhelmed. You know the patterns that show up when your spirit is tired. You know the habits that become louder when your inner reserves are low. That is not because you are weak beyond hope. It is because emptiness changes your appetite. And I do not want you living there any longer. I want you to recognize that this is not just about needing a break. This is about needing a return. You need to return to the place where your soul is fed. You need to return to the place where my presence is not an afterthought squeezed into the cracks of your day, but the source from which everything else flows. You need to return to stillness, to honesty, to prayer that is not performed but poured out, to scripture that is not skimmed but received, to silence that is not avoided but welcomed because it gives me room to speak. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for reordering. I am not demanding a flawless routine. I am asking you to stop living as though you can afford to neglect the deepest part of yourself. You cannot. Not anymore. You have stretched this too far. You have carried too much without refilling. And now I am lovingly telling you to stop before the weariness shapes you in ways that are harder to undo. So listen carefully and do something practical with me right now. Cancel the inner lie that says rest is laziness. Reject the false belief that constant output proves your worth. Refuse the mindset that says your value is measured by how much you can carry without breaking. That is not my voice. My voice says come. My voice says receive. My voice says sit with me long enough for the noise to settle and the thirst to be named. My voice says let me refill what the world has drained. My voice says you do not have to earn restoration. You only have to stop resisting it. So come back to the well, my child. Come thirsty. Come honest. Come without pretending. Let your prayer be simple if that is all you have strength for. Let your tears speak if words feel tired. Let your silence become an offering if language feels heavy. But come. Do not keep trying to survive on scraps when I am offering living water. Do not keep building your days around depletion when I am inviting you into renewal. You have been running on empty for too long, and I will not let you keep calling that normal if you will let me show you another way. I want your soul breathing again. I want your thoughts less frantic. I want your heart less burdened. I want your joy less fragile. I want your spirit anchored, nourished, and clear. That begins the moment you stop pretending that you can keep going like this without consequence, and finally let me fill what has been dry for far too long. My child, you have just heard me speak about the emptiness in your soul and the well where your spirit must be refilled. But listen carefully, because time is running out, and I am calling many thirsty hearts to this same living water. What you receive here is not meant to stay with you alone. It is meant to flow like a river into the lives of others who are running on empty just as you were. When you choose to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal offering, the PayPal link is in the video description. You are sowing seed into a field where weary souls find rest and dry spirits drink again. Have you not heard me say, give, and it will be given to you? Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I am stirring your heart right now because this is not coincidence. It is a divine moment where your generosity becomes oil in the lamp that keeps my light burning for others in the night. The seed you release becomes manna for someone who thought heaven had forgotten them, and I will multiply what you place in my hands. I see the heart that gives, and I surround it with provision, protection, and unexpected favor. So do not delay, my child. Sow the seed now through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, and let the river of my word continue reaching the thirsty. My beloved child, stay with me here because I want to speak to you with honesty and with tenderness, and I need you to let these words go deeper than your first reaction. The delay has cost you more than you realize. I know you have told yourself that waiting a little longer would not hurt anything. I know you have tried to soften it in your own mind, calling it caution, calling it timing, calling it not yet, calling it I just need a little more clarity. And sometimes there is wisdom in pausing. Sometimes there is a holy stillness that protects you from rushing. But that is not what I am talking about now. I am speaking about the kind of delay that your heart already recognized as avoidance, even when your mind tried to give it a softer name. I am speaking about the moments when you knew what I was showing you, but you kept circling because surrender felt costly. I am speaking about the places where you kept saying soon while something inside you was quietly weakening under the weight of postponement. You have thought of delay mostly in terms of lost time, but I need you to see it the way I see it. Delay is not only about minutes, months, or missed opportunities on a calendar. Delay changes your inner world. Delay drains your peace in small doses until you forget what unbroken peace even feels like. Delay keeps you emotionally tied to things I was trying to free you from. Delay teaches your mind to live in loops instead of in clarity. Delay invites confusion to stay longer than it should. Delay creates a kind of low, constant pressure in your spirit because your heart knows there is unfinished obedience somewhere in the room. You may not have always named it that way, but you have felt it. You have felt that subtle heaviness after moments when you knew I was nudging you and you chose not to move. You have felt that strange mixture of conviction and restlessness when you kept revisiting something I had already brought into the light. You have felt how your thoughts get louder when your spirit is waiting for your yes. That is not because I am punishing you. That is because alignment matters, and when you stay out of alignment long enough, the friction becomes exhausting. I want you to think about how much emotional energy has been spent trying to manage what could have been released. Think about how much mental space has been occupied by the same internal debates. Think about how many moments of peace were interrupted by what you kept postponing. Think about how many prayers have circled around the same issue because you wanted relief without the full surrender that relief required. That cost is real. It may not always look dramatic, but it is real. It shows up in your tiredness. It shows up in your irritability. It shows up in your indecision. It shows up in the way you feel pulled in two directions when you are trying to move forward while still holding on to something I already asked you to lay down. It shows up in how difficult it becomes to enjoy what is in front of you because a deeper unresolved tension is always humming underneath. My child, I do not want you to keep paying that price. I do not want you to keep leaking peace over something that could have already been placed in my hands. I do not want you to keep calling this normal when it is actually the strain of delayed obedience. So stop with me right now. Be honest. Do not protect the delay anymore. Do not defend it with polished explanations. Ask yourself plainly, what has this postponement cost me? Let that question sit. Let it search your heart. Let it show you the sleeplessness, the overthinking, the low-grade anxiety, the emotional exhaustion, the recurring temptation, the repeated confusion, the private grief, the energy spent maintaining what should have been surrendered. This is not to shame you. It is to wake you. Once you see the true cost, you will stop treating delay like a harmless pause and start seeing it for what it has become, a thief that smiles softly while taking more from you than you meant to give. And I want to press this deeper, my child, because once you understand the true cost of delay, you will stop negotiating with it. The most painful part is not only what delay has taken from you internally, it is also what delay has kept you from receiving. While you were postponing surrender, there were things I wanted to build in you that could not fully take root. While you were holding on to what I was asking you to release, There were deeper levels of peace, clarity, and stability waiting on the other side of that obedience. While you were asking for more confirmation, more comfort, more time, your spirit remained in a kind of divided state, 1 foot near me, 1 foot near the very thing that kept disturbing your rest. A divided posture is exhausting. It wears you down in ways that are difficult to explain until you finally step out of it and realize how much energy it took just to remain there. I want you to imagine carrying a heavy bag every day for so long that you begin to believe your body simply hurts by nature. And then one day the bag is removed and you suddenly understand that much of your pain was not your identity. It was the weight you got used to carrying. That is what delayed surrender can feel like. It becomes so familiar that you mistake its strain for your personality, your season, or your unavoidable burden. But I am telling you now, some of what you have accepted is just how life is has actually been the cost of carrying what I never intended you to keep. So listen carefully and receive this as a command wrapped in compassion. Stop carrying what delay has tied to your shoulders. Stop rehearsing the same internal arguments. Stop revisiting the same compromise. Stop waiting for the perfect emotional moment to obey. Stop asking for comfort before surrender. Bring me the thing you keep circling. Bring me the fear that makes you hesitate. Bring me the attachment that keeps whispering, just a little longer. Bring me the habit that feels small but keeps stealing from your clarity. Bring me the relationship, the resentment, the secret pattern, the unspoken grief, the coping mechanism, the inner excuse. Whatever it is, bring it. Place it in my hands now, not in theory, not in some future version of you, but here in this moment. Let this be the line in the sand. Let this be the end of endless postponement. You do not need to carry one more day of unnecessary strain to prove that you are thoughtful or careful. You do not need to stay in emotional limbo because surrender feels uncomfortable. You do not need to keep bleeding peace into the same unresolved place. I am inviting you into relief, but relief begins where honesty does. Name the cost. Feel the cost. Let it sober you. Then let it move you. Not into panic, but into clarity. Not into shame, but into action. Once you truly see what delay has taken, you will stop treating it like a friend. You will stop protecting it. You will stop making room for it. And when you finally choose to move, when you finally choose to obey the thing your heart has known for a long time, you will feel something always startling. The noise will begin to thin. The inner tension will begin to loosen. And the emotional energy you spent maintaining misalignment will begin to return to you as peace. That is not small. That is sacred. That is why I am speaking so directly now. I am not trying to expose you for the sake of discomfort. I am trying to restore what delay has quietly stolen. I am trying to return your clarity. I am trying to give back your breath. I am trying to rescue the parts of you that have been stuck in a slow drain for too long. So hear me clearly, my child. The delay has already cost you enough. Do not let it take one more season. Do not let it keep charging you interest in the currency of your peace. Choose now. Release now. Obey now. Let this be the moment where what has been expensive becomes surrendered, and what has been heavy becomes handed over. I am ready. The grace is here. The next step is in front of you. Take it. My beloved child, I want you to become very still inside as I say this, because I need this truth to land with clarity and not slip past you like so many other moments have. You do not need another sign after this. I know how often you have asked me for confirmation. I know how many times you have prayed, Lord, if this is really you, make it clearer. I know the questions you have carried. Are you still near? Are you still speaking? Are you still guiding me? Am I imagining this? Is this really the direction I should go? Is this conviction or just emotion? Is this your voice or just my own thoughts? I know all of it, because I have been with you in every one of those questions. And I want you to hear me with all the gentleness and firmness of a father who loves you deeply. I have been answering you more than you realize. The issue has not been a lack of signs. The issue has been your relationship with what you already sensed. You have wanted certainty strong enough to remove all discomfort before you respond. You have wanted clarity that leaves no room for faith. You have wanted the kind of sign that makes obedience feel easy. But that is not how I always work with those I love. Sometimes I do speak through obvious moments. Sometimes I do open doors in ways that are unmistakable. Sometimes I do send confirmations that feel almost impossible to miss. But often, especially in seasons where I am maturing your discernment, I speak in ways that require you to trust what your spirit already recognizes before your mind feels fully settled. That is where faith deepens. That is where intimacy grows. That is where you learn the difference between chasing spectacle and recognizing my presence in the subtle. I need you to stop telling yourself that you are still waiting on me if what you are really doing is hesitating in front of what I have already illuminated. This moment matters because I am making things clearer than you have allowed yourself to admit. These words, this stirring, this weight, this conviction, this personal sense that something in you is being directly addressed. This is not vague. This is not generic. This is not random noise passing by. This is me cutting through your internal fog and saying, my child, enough circling. Enough waiting for thunder when I have already been speaking in the whisper. I want you to remember how many times you felt the nudge. I want you to remember the recurring thought that would not leave. I want you to remember the subtle discomfort when you stepped into certain places, the lack of peace around certain choices, the strange heaviness after certain habits, the recurring sense that something needed to change even if you could not fully explain why. Those were not empty feelings. Those were not meaningless emotional fluctuations. Those were signposts. Those were my fingerprints on your conscience. Those were the quiet signals of my spirit trying to guide you before louder consequences became necessary. And now I am giving you something stronger still. I am meeting you in a moment that is direct, weighty, unmistakably personal. I am speaking to the exact places your heart has already been wrestling with. So do not insult your own spiritual sensitivity by pretending you still need something bigger. Do not keep moving the line of what counts as clear enough. Do not make me shout because you keep dismissing the whisper. Let this be enough. Let this be the moment where you stop bargaining for more proof and instead start honoring the light already given. That is not recklessness. That is trust. That is maturity. That is the beginning of walking with me in a way that is less dependent on dramatic confirmation and more rooted in relationship. So take this personally. Take this seriously. Let your heart say, this is the sign I asked for, even if it did not come in the exact form I expected. Receive it. Do not shrink back. Do not tell yourself you need one more dream, one more word, one more external event, one more perfectly timed confirmation. If I am already making it clear inside you, then you have enough light for the next step. Use it. And I want to take this even deeper, because I know one of the reasons you keep asking for more signs is not simply uncertainty. It is fear of responsibility once the answer becomes undeniable. If you admit that this is the sign, then you also have to admit that a response is now required. If you admit that I have been speaking, then you can no longer hide behind confusion. If you acknowledge that the direction is clear, then delay becomes a choice, not a mystery. That is why this matters so much. You have sometimes preferred ambiguity because ambiguity lets you postpone. It gives you cover. It allows you to keep one foot in hesitation while still feeling spiritual because you are waiting on the Lord. But my child, there is a difference between waiting on me and hiding behind waiting. There is a difference between holy patience and comfortable postponement. I need you to let that difference become real to you now. I am not calling you into blind movement. I am calling you into responsive trust. I am asking you to stop using the absence of spectacular signs as an excuse to ignore the repeated clarity of my spirit. And I am telling you with love, if you keep demanding louder proof while refusing the light already given, you will not become safer. You will become duller. You will start to distrust the very inner witness I am trying to strengthen in you. You will teach yourself to ignore holy discomfort. You will need bigger and bigger moments. Just it takes simple steps. That is not the life I want for you. I want you sensitive. I want you responsive. I want you to recognize me in the quiet, in the nudge, in the gentle check in your spirit, in the subtle peace or unrest that accompanies a choice. That is how relationship matures. That is how discernment becomes sharp. That is how you stop living dependent on dramatic rescue and start walking in steady guidance. So I am asking you now, receive this as enough. Stop scanning the horizon for some giant sign while my hand is already on your heart. Stop waiting for the sky to split open while your spirit is already trembling with recognition. Stop pretending you do not know what I am touching. You do know. Maybe not every detail. Maybe not the entire map. But you know the next step. You know the area I am highlighting. You know the thing I'm asking you to stop excusing. You know the relationship I am telling you to re-examine. You know the habit I am telling you to confront. You know the prayer life I am telling you to return to. You know the silence I am asking you to create so I can speak more clearly. You know enough. And enough is enough for obedience. So here is my invitation and my command together. Stop asking for more signs and start responding to the one you are in. Let your yes rise now. Let your heart stop negotiating. Let your spirit agree with what it has already recognized. And act. Make the call. End the compromise. Delete the access point. Step back from the pattern. Open the Bible again with sincerity. Jet off the noise. Sit in prayer. Tell the truth. Ask for help if needed. Confess what has been hidden. Walk away from what has been poisoning your peace. Do the next thing I have been nudging you toward. This is how the sign becomes a turning point instead of just another emotional moment. And I want you to know something beautiful. When you honor the light I have already given, more light often follows. Clarity grows in motion. Peace deepened in obedience. Direction becomes sharper once you stop resisting the first step. That is why this matters. You do not need another sign after this because this moment is already rich with my voice, my timing, my touch, and my invitation. Do not reduce it by calling it ordinary. Do not cheapen it by waiting for something louder. Receive it as holy. Receive it as personal. Receive it as your answer. Then move, my child. Move with humility, move with trust, move with honesty, but move. I am with you, and you do not need another sign after this because I am already here, already speaking, already making the next step clear enough for a willing heart to obey. My beloved child, come close and listen carefully now, because this is one of the places where you keep losing what I am trying to place directly into your hands. You keep overthinking what I am asking you to receive. You have trained your mind to examine everything from 10 different angles before you allow your heart to rest in it. You analyze the feeling, you question the timing, you test the moment, you search for reasons to hold back, and by the time you are finished sorting through every possible outcome, the simple invitation I gave you has become tangled in fear, caution, and delay. I understand why you do this. I know life has taught you to be careful. I know disappointment made you cautious. I know betrayal made you slower to trust. I know pain made you suspicious of anything that feels too hopeful, too close, too good, too immediate. You have learned to protect yourself by staying mentally ahead of your emotions. You have learned to keep one hand on the door in case you need to leave quickly. You have learned to scan for danger even in holy moments, and sometimes that reflex feels wise because it helped you survive other seasons. But my child, not every survival skill belongs in every season. What protected you in pain can become a prison in healing if you never let me retrain your heart. That is what I am doing now. I am asking you to stop filtering every holy moment through the lens of fear. I am asking you to stop dissecting what I am giving you until the life drains out of it. There are things I offer that are meant to be received before they are fully explained. There are moments of grace that do not bloom under suspicion. There are invitations that lose their warmth when you keep holding them at arm's length, demanding they prove themselves beyond what is reasonable. I am not telling you to abandon wisdom. I am not telling you to become careless. I am telling you to recognize when your caution has crossed the line into resistance. I am telling you to notice when your need for certainty is actually your fear of surrender wearing a clever disguise. Because that is what has happened more than once. I have come near to you, and you felt it. I have stirred your heart, and you recognized it. I have touched a place in you that needed healing, and for a moment something softened. But instead of receiving what I was offering, you stepped back into your mind and started negotiating with the moment. You asked yourself if it was real, if it would last, if you were imagining it, if you should wait, if it was too emotional, if you should be more careful, if maybe later would be better. And while you were trying to protect yourself from uncertainty, you were also keeping yourself from comfort. While you were trying to avoid disappointment, you were also delaying peace. While you were trying to remain in control, you were quietly resisting the very tenderness your soul was crying out for. I want you to stop doing that. I say that with love, but I say it clearly. Stop taking every gift to the courtroom of your anxious thoughts. Stop putting every holy invitation on trial. Stop interrogating the peace I am trying to place over your spirit. Some things do need discernment, yes. But there are moments when your spirit already knows I am near, and what you need most is not more analysis, but more surrender. So right now, as you sit with me in this message, do not turn this into another mental maze. Let this land. Let this reach you. Let this be simple. I'm here. I'm speaking. I am offering peace, clarity, correction, comfort, and direction. You do not need to fully understand every layer before you say yes to the next step. You do not need a 5-year map before you take one faithful step today. You do not need your emotions perfectly organized before you open your hands. You do not need to become less human before you let me love you deeply. So take a breath. Loosen your grip. Let your shoulders drop. Let the inner courtroom go silent for a moment. Stop cross-examining what your spirit already recognizes. This is not the time to stand at a distance with folded arms. This is the time to receive. Receive my nearness. Receive my correction where you need it. Receive my peace where you have been spinning. Receive my invitation where you have been stalling. Receive my love where you still feel undeserving. Do not wait until you can explain it all. Some of the most important things I do in you begin the moment you stop demanding full understanding and simply let my presence settle where it was always meant to rest. And I want to take this even further, my child, because there is something powerful you need to understand about the difference between analysis and acceptance. When you overthink what I am offering, you often mistake movement in your mind for progress in your spirit. You feel busy internally, so you assume you are processing wisely. You feel active mentally, so you assume you are being responsible. But many times, you are not moving toward peace. You are circling it. You are orbiting the very thing I am trying to give you, studying it from every angle, while never actually stepping into it. That is exhausting. That is why some of your deepest weariness comes from internal loops, not external pressure. You are spending precious emotional energy revisiting what could have already become settled if you had simply trusted me enough to receive it. Think about how often you have felt a clear nudge to rest, but instead of resting you kept thinking about rest. Think about how often you sensed I was asking you to release something, but instead of releasing it you kept analyzing why it felt hard. Think about how often I offered you comfort, but instead of sitting in that comfort you questioned whether you deserved it, whether it was real enough, whether it would disappear tomorrow. You do not need to live like that anymore. I am inviting you into something cleaner and freer. I am inviting you to practice receiving without overhandling. Imagine holding a fragile, beautiful gift. If you keep turning it over, shaking it, prying at it, testing it, and demanding it prove itself from every angle, you can miss the joy of simply opening it and letting it bless you. That is what you have sometimes done with my presence, with my peace, with my direction. You have treated the gift like a puzzle instead of a provision. So hear me now, and let this become a turning point in how you walk with me. When your spirit recognizes me, honor that recognition. When peace comes and it carries my fingerprint, do not swat it away because it arrived gently instead of dramatically. When conviction rises and it is clean, honest, and loving, do not reduce it to just a feeling because acting on it would require change. When I offer rest, take it. When I offer comfort, receive it. When I offer correction, welcome it. When I offer a next step, take it. Do not make every gift fight its way through your defenses before it can bless you. I want more softness in you, not weakness but softness, the kind that lets grace land, the kind that lets truth settle, the kind that stops trying to stay one step ahead of love. So I am giving you a direct invitation right now, and I want you to treat it like an assignment from my heart. The next time you sense me clearly, do not immediately run to overanalysis. Pause. Breathe. Ask a simple question. Instead of what if this is not enough, ask what if this is exactly what I need today. Instead of what if I misunderstand, ask what is the next faithful step I can take with the light I have. Instead of what if this feeling fades, ask how can I honor what I know is true right now. Those are better questions. Those are healing questions. Those are questions that move you toward trust instead of deeper into loops. And if you practice that, you will begin to notice something beautiful. Your mind will become less noisy, your spirit will become more responsive, and your relationship with me will feel less like a debate and more like a walk. That is what I want for you. I do not want every sacred moment turning into a courtroom. I want some of them to become a living room where you sit with me, receive from me, and stop trying to earn clarity by endless mental effort. So do this now, my child. Open your hands. Stop holding this message at a distance. Stop scanning for reasons to stay guarded. Let what I am saying come all the way in. Receive what I am offering before you overthink it into something smaller than it was meant to be. There is peace here for you. There is direction here for you. There is relief here for you. There is even healing here for the part of you that hath been afraid to trust anything that arrives gently. Let me retrain that part of you. Let me teach you that not everything good must arrive with thunder to be holy. Some gifts come like a whisper. Some answers come like a quiet light under a door. Some rescue comes like a hand on your shoulder and a voice saying, "Come, my child." Stop circling. Just receive. Do that now. My beloved child, I want you to let me get close to the fear now, because this fear has had too much influence in your life. And I will not let it keep speaking louder than truth if you are willing to listen. There is a fear in you that has become very skilled. It does not always arrive in obvious ways. It does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it sounds reasonable. Sometimes it sounds protective. Sometimes it sounds mature, careful, thoughtful, even spiritual. But beneath the surface, it has been doing the same thing for longer than you realize. It has been keeping you stuck. It has been keeping you in familiar patterns that no longer serve you. It has been keeping you near compromises you should have already left. It has been keeping you in emotional loops that drain you. It has been keeping you from deeper surrender because it keeps whispering that what I am asking from you will cost too much, hurt too much, strip too much away, or leave you too exposed. I know this fear intimately. I have watched it shape your thoughts. I have watched it intercept moments where you were about to move closer to me, only to pull you backward with a rush of what-ifs. I have watched it turn simple next steps into giant mountains in your mind. I have watched it make your heart tense up at the edge of obedience, even when your spirit already knows the direction is right. I am not angry that fear has been present. I understand how it got there. I know what planted some of it. I know the betrayals that made trust harder. I know the losses that made hope feel risky. I know the disappointments that made you suspicious of promises. I know the seasons where you stepped out and got hurt, where you opened up and felt exposed, where you hoped and then watched something fall apart. Fear learned from those moments. Fear built arguments from those moments. Fear started using those memories like evidence in a case against surrender. But just because fear learned how to speak in your life does not mean it deserves authority there. That is the part I need you to understand now. Fear can be present without being in charge. Fear can make noise without becoming your guide. Fear can show up, but it does not get to decide the direction of your life if you will stop bowing to it. That is why I am speaking directly to it. I am not going to dance around it. I am not going to let you keep calling it wisdom when it is really a wound-driven instinct that keeps protecting pain instead of embracing healing. There are things you know you should do that fear keeps delaying. There are conversations you know need to happen that fear keeps postponing. There are habits you know need to end that fear keeps defending. There are places of deeper prayer, deeper honesty, deeper surrender, deeper release that fear keeps painting dangerous. And I am telling you now, enough. Let me speak over that fear. Let me put truth where fear has built arguments. Let me expose the way it has been exaggerating loss and minimizing the freedom on the other side of obedience. Because that is what fear does. It magnifies the cost and hides the reward. It makes the doorway look like a cliff. It turns a next step into a nightmare. It convinces you that staying stuck is safer than becoming free. But that is a lie, my child. Familiar pain is not safer than holy change. A known prison is not better than an unfamiliar freedom. What I am calling you into may feel vulnerable, yes. It may stretch you, yes. It may require letting go, yes. But it is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to deliver you. So stop negotiating with fear. Stop letting it narrate your next step. Stop allowing it to make your world smaller. Bring it into the light with me. Name it. Say, Lord, this is what I am afraid of. Be specific. Be honest. Do not hide behind vague language. Fear weakens when it is named in my presence. Fear loses some of its mystery when it is dragged into the light. And once you do that, let me speak louder. Let me remind you who I am. Let me remind you what I have already carried you through. Let me remind you that I have not brought you this far to abandon you at the edge of obedience. I want to take you deeper still, because if you truly let me address the fear that keeps you stuck, you are going to begin seeing how much of your life has been shaped by trying to avoid pain rather than trying to stay aligned with me. That is not a small realization. It is a sacred one. Many of your delays have not come from a lack of understanding. They have come from a fear of discomfort. Many of your inner battles have not come from not knowing the truth. They have come from fearing what truth will require. Many of your repeated cycles have not been caused by a total absence of direction. They have been fueled by the emotional cost of acting on what you already know. That is why fear has been so effective. It does not always have to convince you that something is wrong. Sometimes it only has to make the right thing feel too expensive in the moment. It only has to make the next step feel too uncomfortable, too vulnerable, too uncertain, too inconvenient. Then you pause. Then you wait. Then you circle. Then you stay where you are. And all the while, fear quietly congratulates itself because it kept you from the exact place where freedom was waiting. I want that pattern broken. I want you to see it clearly so you stop mistaking it for caution. You are not meant to build your life around the avoidance of discomfort. You are meant to build your life around trust in me. That does not mean every step will feel easy. It does not mean every release will feel painless. It does not mean every act of obedience will come without trembling. But it does mean you can move while trembling. It does mean you can obey while still feeling vulnerable. It does mean you can say yes even if your emotions are still catching up. That is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is refusing to let fear drive. And that is what I am inviting you into right now. So listen carefully and let this become practical. I want you to stop asking fear for permission before you obey me. I want you to stop consulting fear as if it is your wise advisor. It is not. It is a poor guide with a dramatic imagination. It has exaggerated too much in your life already. It has painted ordinary obedience like a catastrophe. It has turned healthy boundaries into lonely endings, turned surrender into imagined collapse, turned confession into unbearable exposure, turned release into total loss. Enough. Do not let it preach to you anymore. Come to me instead. Bring me the exact fear. Is it fear of losing someone? Bring it. Is it fear of being alone? Bring it. Is it fear of failing again? Bring it. Is it fear that if you let go of a coping mechanism you will not know how to survive the emotions underneath? Bring it. Is it fear that if you truly obey, I will ask too much? Bring it. Lay it all down in my presence. Then listen while I speak. I will not always remove every anxious sensation instantly, but I will give you something stronger than false safety. I will give you truth. I will give you steadiness. I will give you the strength to take the next step. I will give you peace that is deeper than comfort and more reliable than avoidance. And once you move, once you finally take the step fear kept delaying, you will often discover that the monster in your mind was far larger than the reality of obedience. That is one of the enemy's oldest tricks, to make the threshold look terrifying so you never cross it and discover how much grace is waiting on the other side. Do not fall for it again. Cross the threshold. Step through the door. Make the decision. Cut the tie. Set the boundary. Return to prayer. Open the Word. Confess what needs confessing. Delete what needs deleting. Walk away from what keeps wounding you. Stay when prayer gets quiet instead of running back to distraction. Let this be the moment where fear loses its privileged seat in your life. I am not asking you to become fearless before you move. I am asking you to trust me more than you trust the fear. That is enough. That is where freedom starts. And I promise you, my child, once you begin moving with me instead of freezing with fear, you will look back and realize that what kept you stuck for so long was not stronger than my voice. It was only louder because you kept listening to it. Listen to me now instead. I am here. I am with you. I am ahead of you. And the fear that kept you stuck does not get to write your next chapter if you will let me lead you out. My beloved child, come closer and let me speak plainly now, because this is one of those moments where love must be clear, not vague. There are things around you right now that cannot go where I am taking you. I need you to hear that without panic, without defensiveness, and without immediately trying to argue for what you have grown attached to. Just stay open. Just say soft. Just let me speak. You have felt the tension already. You have sensed it in quiet moments when your spirit became unsettled around certain people, certain habits, certain environments, certain conversations, certain compromises, certain emotional patterns that once felt normal but now leave a residue in you. You have noticed how some things pull you downward after you leave them, how some connections cloud your clarity, how some routines numb your soul instead of nourishing it, how some places in your life leave you spiritually sluggish even when they seem harmless on the surface. That is not your imagination. That is discernment. That is me teaching your spirit to recognize what fits your next season and what belongs to an older version of you that I am calling out of. I want you to understand something important. Not everything that is familiar is faithful. Not everything that is close is healthy. Not everything that feels comforting is safe for your future. You have sometimes mistaken familiarity for alignment. You have sometimes held on to things simply because they were nearby, known, or emotionally entangled with your history. But my child, history is not the same as destiny. What hath been with you for a long time is not automatically meant to stay with you forever. There are weights that were temporary. There are patterns that were tolerated for a season but are now becoming obstacles. There are relationships that once taught you something, served a purpose, or met you in a place of need, but now they are keeping you emotionally bound to an old version of yourself. There are habits that used to feel like relief when you were hurting, but now they are acting like quiet chains. There are thought patterns that once formed in survival, but if you keep feeding them, they will harden into strongholds that steal from your next chapter. I am not saying this casually. I am saying this because I can see the road ahead. I know the shape of the life I am calling you into. I know the peace I want to establish in you, the clarity I want to sharpen in you, the strength I want to build in you, the steadiness I want to grow in you. And some of what is around you now cannot cross that threshold with you. It will not fit. It will not serve the life I am preparing. It will not cooperate with the healing I am doing. It will keep pulling you back into old cycles, old reactions, old emotional weather, old ways of coping, old ways of shrinking, old ways of surviving when I am trying to teach you how to live free. So I need you to stop assuming that because something is still present, it still belongs. Presence is not permission. Familiarity is not confirmation. Longevity is not proof of calling. I need you to examine what is around you with me. Sit down with me and ask honestly, what leaves my spirit heavier after I engage with it? What keeps dimming my discernment? What makes it harder to hear my Father's voice? What keeps me emotionally hooked but spiritually drained? What keeps feeding the very thing I keep asking to be healed? Ask those questions and do not run from the answers. Let the answers stand in the light. Let them breathe. Let them become undeniable. Because once you truly see what had been quietly stealing from you, you will stop defending it just because it feels familiar. And I want to lovingly command you now, stop making room for what keeps sabotaging your peace. Stop entertaining what keeps weakening your clarity. Stop protecting what keeps poisoning your progress. Stop carrying old attachments into a new assignment. You do not need to understand every detail of the future to know what does not belong there. You do not need a full map to recognize what keeps tripping your steps. You do not need a dramatic collapse to justify a holy release. If your spirit keeps dying around it, pay attention. If your peace keeps leaking after it, pay attention. If you keep leaving those spaces more confused, more compromised, more tempted, more heavy, pay attention. That is me helping you see. That is me saying, my child, this cannot go with you. And I know release feels costly. I know there is grief in letting go. I know some of these things are woven into routines, into memories, into emotional survival, into versions of comfort you leaned on when you felt alone. I am not blind to that. I am not minimizing that. But do not confuse grief with wrongness. Sometimes the right release still hurts. Sometimes the healthy boundary still stings. Sometimes the necessary ending still brings tears. That does not mean it was not holy. That does not mean it was not protection. That does not mean I am being cruel. It means I am pruning, and pruning can feel sharp before it bears fruit. Stay with me in that truth. Do not pull back from it. Let me help you release what cannot go where I am taking you, because where I am taking you is too sacred to fill with what keeps dragging your soul backward. And I want to take you deeper now, because there is another side to this that you need to understand if you are going to move with courage instead of clinging with fear. What you keep trying to carry forward is not only weighing you down, it is also competing with what I am trying to plant. That is why this matters so much. Your life is not empty ground. It is a field. It is a garden. It is a place where seeds are always being planted, whether you are intentional or not. Every relationship plants something. Every repeated thought plants something. Every habit plants something. Every environment plants something. Every voice you keep close plants something. Some seeds produce peace, clarity, and holy strength. Others produce confusion, compromise, and quiet corrosion. If you keep letting the wrong seeds stay in the soil, you will wonder why the harvest feels so mixed. You will ask me for peace while still watering what produces unrest. You will ask me for clarity while still feeding what clouds your spirit. You will ask me for freedom while still leaving doors open to the very things that keep your soul tied in knots. That is why I am asking you now to become more intentional, more discerning, more honest than you have been. Do not just ask me to bless what is around you. Ask me to reveal what needs to go. Do not only ask for open doors. Ask for the courage to close the ones that keep draining you. Do not only ask for a new season. Make room for it. New wine needs new wineskins. New growth needs cleared ground. New strength needs clean space. And I want you to notice something beautiful in this. I am not only removing, I am preparing. I am not only asking you to release, I am making room. I am not only cutting off what does not belong, I am protecting what does. This is not random loss. This is sacred rearrangement. This is not me emptying your life for the sake of emptiness. This is me clearing clutter so peace can breathe. This is me creating margin so my voice can be heard more clearly. This is me removing static so the signal gets stronger. This is me guarding the future version of you that is trying to emerge from under all this weight. So do not cling to what I am exposing. Do not negotiate with what I am highlighting. Do not keep telling yourself, maybe it is not that serious, when your spirit keeps reacting every time. It is serious enough if it is stealing your peace. It is serious enough if it is blurring your discernment. It is serious enough if it keeps dragging you into the same cycles. So here is my invitation and my instruction together. Start making holy exits. Step back. Pull away. Set the boundary. Change the rhythm. And the access. Clean the room. Silence the voice. Walk out of the atmosphere that keeps suffocating your spirit. Be brave enough to disappoint the wrong thing so you can finally stop disappointing your own soul. It may sound strong, but you need strength here. You need decisive love, not vague hope. You need movement, not more mental debate. You need to act on what you already know. And if you do, if you truly begin removing what cannot go with you, you are going to feel something shift almost immediately. Your inner world will begin to clear. The background pressure will ease. Your thoughts will feel less crowded. Your prayer life will feel less fighty. Your discernment will sharpen. Your emotions will begin to settle. You will realize that some of what you thought was just stress was actually the result of carrying too much of what no longer belonged in your life. That realization will be both sobering and freeing. Let it be both. Let it wake you up, and let it set you free. I am not asking you to become cold. I am asking you to become clear. I am not asking you to become isolated. I am asking you to become intentional. I am not asking you to lose everything. I am asking you to stop losing yourself to what was never meant to stay. There are things around you that cannot go where I am taking you, my child. Trust me enough to let them go. Trust me enough to let the garden be cleared. Trust me enough to believe that what I am making room for is better, deeper, cleaner, stronger, and more life-giving than what you are afraid to release. Take my hand. Start clearing the ground. Your future needs the space. My beloved child, stay very close to me in this next part, because I want to heal the way you understand what you have been feeling. What you call conviction is actually mercy. I know that sometimes when you feel that inner discomfort, that holy ache, that unsettled stirring in your spirit, you immediately assume something is wrong with you in the worst possible way. You feel the tension, and you think I must be displeased beyond repair. You feel the weight, and you think I must be pulling away. You feel the discomfort, and you assume it means rejection, distance, disappointment, or condemnation. But that is not what is happening. I need you to let me rewrite this in your heart. Conviction is not me casting you out. Conviction is me drawing you in. Conviction is not my hand pushing you away. Conviction is my hand resting on the place that still needs healing, truth, or alignment. Conviction is not the sound of me abandoning you. It is the sound of me refusing to let you drift quietly into something that will wound you more deeply if left untouched. It is mercy, my child. It is mercy in motion. It is mercy with a pulse. It is mercy entering the room before damage becomes devastation. Think about it this way. If your hand touched a hot surface and felt no pain, you would be in far greater danger than if you felt the sharp signal that told you to pull back. That pain is not cruelty. It is protection. It is information. It is a gift that keeps greater harm from settling in. That is how conviction works. When your spirit tightens in a certain environment, when your peace strains after a certain choice, when your heart feels that clean and unmistakable discomfort after you revisit a habit, a thought pattern, a compromise, a conversation, a hidden attitude, that is not me humiliating you. That is me alerting you. That is me saying, my child, do not keep your hand there. Do not stay in this place. Do not keep feeding this. Come back. Come closer. Let me help you. If I did not love you, I could let you go numb. If I did not care, I could let compromise become comfortable. If I did not intend to protect your future, I could let your conscience grow quiet and leave you to wander without interruption. But I have not done that. I have kept speaking. I have kept stirring. I have kept letting that holy unease rise in you because I refuse to let what is precious in you be slowly eroded without a warning. That is mercy. That is fatherly love. That is rescue before collapse. And I need you to stop treating conviction like an enemy. Stop bracing every time your spirit feels checked. Stop interpreting holy discomfort as proof that I am tired of you. Stop letting shame translate my mercy into rejection. Shame says hide. Conviction says come closer. Shame says you are filthy. Conviction says this does not belong on you. Shame attacks identity. Conviction restores identity. Shame pushes you into darkness. Conviction brings you into light. You need to know the difference, because if you confuse the two, you will keep running from the very thing meant to restore you. So the next time you feel that clean, unmistakable inner check, do not panic. Pause. Breathe. Ask me, Father, what are you protecting in me right now? That question will change how you receive conviction. Instead of collapsing into self-accusation, you will begin to recognize my care. Instead of spiraling into fear, you will begin to lean into honesty. Instead of running from the discomfort, you will start walking toward the healing it is pointing to. That is where I want you. I want you in the place where conviction no longer feels like a courtroom, but like a doorway. A doorway back to truth. A doorway back to clarity. A doorway back to the clean, bright space where your spirit can breathe. So do not resist it. Do not silence it. Do not numb it. Do not bury it beneath more noise, more excuses, more rationalizations. Listen to it. Honor it. Follow it back to me. It is mercy speaking in the language of your soul. And I want to take you deeper still, because there is something beautiful hidden inside conviction that you may have overlooked for far too long. Conviction is proof that your heart is still responsive. It is proof that you are not abandoned to numbness. It is proof that my spirit is still moving inside the places where the enemy wanted silence. Think about that. The very discomfort you feared might actually be evidence of my nearness. The very tension you interpreted as rejection might actually be the tenderness of my protection. That changes everything, does it not? It means the ache is not the absence of love. It is the presence of it. It means the inner resistance you feel when something is off is not a sign that I am done with you. It is a sign that I am still actively shaping you. It means I have not let you settle into darkness unnoticed. I have not allowed compromise to become invisible. I have not stepped back while harmful patterns rooted themselves in you without interruption. I have kept touching them. I have kept disturbing the false peace. I have kept stirring the water because I love you too much to let you become comfortable in what is quietly costing you your joy. So I want you to change how you respond when conviction comes. Do not treat it like a siren that sends you running in shame. Treat it like a shepherd's call. Stop. Listen. Turn. Return. Let it interrupt you. Let it redirect you. Let it expose what needs exposing. Let it reveal what you have been defending. Let it bring hidden motives, hidden wounds, hidden compromises, hidden excuses, hidden bitterness, hidden fear, hidden attachments into the light. That is not humiliation. That is healing with the lights on. And yes, sometimes conviction feels sharp. Yes, sometimes it touches tender places. Yes, sometimes it confronts things you wanted to keep half buried. But even that sharpness is not cruelty. It is precision. A surgeon's hand can cut in order to save. A gardener's blade can prune in order to strengthen. A father's voice can become firm in order to protect. That is what my conviction is like. It is exact. It is clean. It is purposeful. It does not thrash wildly. It does not crush your spirit. It points. It reveals. It invites. It calls you higher. So the next time you feel it, do not drown it in distraction. Do not medicate it with busyness. Do not smother it with endless scrolling, endless noise, endless self-justification, endless emotional fog. Stop. Come to me immediately. Bring the exact thing into the light. Say, Father, I feel your hand here. Show me what needs to change. Then listen. Then obey. And receive my grace in the same moment. Because I never bring conviction without also offering the grace to respond. I never uncover without also inviting healing. I never expose without also making a way for cleansing. That is why it is mercy. It is not simply the revelation of what is wrong. It is the revelation of what can still be made right. It is not just the interruption of your drift. It is the invitation back into peace. It is not just the discomfort of being seen. It is the comfort of being guided. So let me say it again, and let it settle deep. What you call conviction is actually mercy. It is my love refusing to leave you numb. It is my spirit refusing to let you call poison peace. It is my heart refusing to let you drift while pretending all is well. It is my Father love breaking through before the enemy can build deeper roots. To welcome it now. Thank me for it even if it stings. Follow it, even if it costs you comfort. Obey it, even if it disrupts your routine. Let conviction become a friend, not because it feels easy, but because it always leads you back to life. And when you do, you will discover something that will steady you in future seasons. The moments that once made you feel most exposed will become the very moments that keep bringing you back into the safest place you know, my presence, where truth and tenderness meet, where correction and compassion kiss, where mercy does not merely forgive you but also frees you. My beloved child, I want you to stop right here and let me come very near, because this part touches a place in you that has been trembling quietly for a long time. I am closer than your breakdown. I know there have been moments, more than you have admitted, when you were not as far from falling apart as everyone around you assumed. I know there were days when you smiled because you had to, answered because you had to, worked because you had to, kept the routine because you had to, while inside you felt like cracked glass being asked to hold more water than it should. I know the strange feeling of being physically present while emotionally frayed, of being in a room with people while your mind is somewhere between exhaustion and escape. I know the nights when your body was still but your thoughts ran like a river in flood, fast and loud, carrying old fears, current burdens, and future worries all at once. I know the mornings when you woke up already tired because your soul had not rested even while your eyes were closed. I know the moments when something small touched a hidden bruise and your emotions reacted more strongly than you expected, and you wondered why you felt so fragile. I know the days when you were one more disappointment away from tears, one more conflict away from shutting down, one more demand away from wanting to disappear into silence. I know all of that, my child. I know because I have been there in the room with you, not as a distant observer but as your father, close enough to feel the tremble in your spirit. You may have thought your breakdown was coming faster than my help, but that is not true. You may have felt like you were walking toward the edge while no one noticed, but I noticed. You may have wondered if you were about to collapse before relief arrived, but I was already nearer than the collapse itself. That is what I need you to understand now. Your breaking point has never been closer to you than I have been. Your panic has never outrun my presence. Your unraveling has never moved faster than my awareness. Your tears have never hit the floor before they touched my heart. Even when you were trying to hold yourself together with borrowed strength and brittle discipline, I was not standing back, waiting to see if you would manage. I was holding the parts of you that felt like they were slipping. I was keeping you from going under in ways you did not even realize. There were moments when you thought you were barely surviving, and you were right. But there were also moments when my hand kept you from falling further than you do. I steadied you in conversations you thought would break you. I quieted you in nights that could have become darker. I softened the blow of things that could have shattered you more deeply. I slowed certain spirals. I interrupted certain thoughts. I kept certain doors closed. I carried more of you than you knew how to name. And now I want you to stop pretending that because you have not fully broken down, you must therefore be fine. That is not the lesson. The lesson is not that you are invincible. The lesson is that I have been near. The lesson is that I have been preserving you. The lesson is that your survival was not proof that you needed no help. It was proof that help had already been present, even if it arrived quietly. So do not wait for a collapse to take me seriously. Do not wait until you are completely undone before you finally become honest. Do not wait for the tears to turn into total exhaustion before you let me touch the place that is fraying. Come now. Come before the breakdown. Come while the warning signs are still whispering. Come while your heart is still tender enough to respond. Sit with me and tell me the truth. Where are you stretched too thin? Where are you emotionally overloaded? Where are you holding more than you should? Where are you close to shutting down? Where are you secretly afraid that one more thing will push you over the edge? Bring me those places now. Do not package them. Do not soften them. Do not say, "It is not that bad," if inside you know it has been heavier than anyone sees. If it is pressing on you, it matters to me. If it is draining your peace, it belongs in my presence. If it is threatening your stability, it needs my touch. So breathe slowly. Unclench your jaw. Let the tears come if they are near. Let the silence say what words cannot. I am not afraid of your fragility. I am not intimidated by your overwhelm. I am not stepping back because you are close to the edge. I am stepping closer. I am closer than your breakdown, and I want you to learn to run to me before the collapse, not just cry out after it. And I want to go even deeper, my child, because part of what has brought you so close to the edge is not only what happened to you, it is how long you have been carrying it without allowing yourself to be fully held. You have become so practiced at endurance that sometimes you do not even notice when your soul is waving a white flag. You call it stress. You call it just a lot right now. You call it being tired. And yes, some of that is true. But there are deeper layers, and I need you to let me touch them. Some of what you feel is accumulated weight. It is not one moment. It is many moments stacked together like stones in a backpack you forgot you were wearing. It is grief you never fully processed. It is disappointment you tucked away because life kept moving. It is fear that built a little nest in your chest after certain losses. It is resentment you did not mean to keep but never truly released. It is pressure from trying to be strong for others while secretly wishing someone would notice that you need care too. It is the slow erosion that happens when you keep functioning but stop truly resting in me. This is why you sometimes feel close to breaking over things that seem small. The issue is not the small thing. The issue is the mountain already sitting behind it. A single drop can make the cup overflow when the cup hath been full for a long time. I need you to stop judging yourself for feeling fragile and start understanding what has filled the cup. That is wisdom. That is compassion. That is honesty. and it is the beginning of healing. So hear me clearly and let this settle deep inside you. You do not need to wait for a dramatic collapse to qualify for my care. You do not need to prove that you are overwhelmed by falling apart publicly. You do not need to earn rest by first becoming completely undone. Come to me sooner. Come to me earlier. Come to me when the pressure first starts to rise. Come to me when your thoughts begin to crowd. Come to me when you feel yourself withdrawing. Come to me when irritability increases, when your patience thins, when numbness grows, when joy feels distant, when prayer feels harder, when you start craving escape instead of presence. Those are signals, not failures. Those are the dashboard lights of your soul, and I am asking you to stop ignoring them. Pull over with me. Stop the inner sprint. Sit down in my presence and let me help you unload what has been piling up. Tell me what the stones are. Name them one by one if you need to. This hurt me. This scared me. This disappointed me. This made me feel alone. This exhausted me. This still stings. Say it. Bring it. Let me hold it. Do not keep carrying it as if silence is strength. Silence can sometimes be surrender, yes, but not when it is used to avoid being honest. I want honest silence, honest tears, honest prayer, honest confession, honest rest. I want you to become the kind of person who recognizes my nearness before the breakdown, not only after the wreckage. And I want you to know this too. When you let me in before the collapse, healing becomes gentler. The process becomes cleaner. The restoration becomes less about emergency rescue and more about deep renewal. I can still meet you in the rubble if you wait too long, never doubt that. I have done it before, and I will do it again if needed. But I would rather teach you to come earlier, to trust sooner, to release faster, to stop glorifying your capacity to endure what should have been surrendered days ago. That is maturity. That is spiritual wisdom. That is a deeper walk with me. So I am inviting you and commanding you with love. Stop measuring how close you are to breaking and start measuring how quickly you return to my presence when the pressure rises. Let that become your new pattern. Let that become your new instinct. Let that become your holy habit. I am closer than your breakdown, my child. Closer than the Vedic, closer than the deers, closer than the numbness, closer than the night thoughts, closer than the exhaustion, closer than the ed. Learn that. Practice that. Trust that. And come close now. Not later. Not after the crash. Now. My beloved child, you have just heard me tell you that I am closer than your breakdown, and there are countless others standing at that same fragile edge right now, waiting for a voice of hope to reach them before they fall. I am raising messengers and opening pathways so my word can arrive in their darkest moment, just as it arrived for you today. When you give through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal donation, the PayPal link is in the video description. You become part of that rescue, like lighting a lamp in a storm so the lost can find their way home. Remember what I have spoken, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Your generosity becomes oil in the vessel, keeping the flame of truth burning so another soul does not collapse in silence. This is not merely support for a channel. It is seed sown into a harvest of lives, prayers, and restoration. I see every offering, and I breathe multiplication over it, favor over your house, peace over your mind, and provision over your future. I placed this prompting in your spirit for a reason, because this moment is an appointment written before you arrived here. So act now. Release your seed through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, and help carry my voice to those who are closer to breaking than anyone knows. My beloved child, stay with me here because this moment is sacred, and I need you to feel the seriousness and the tenderness of what I am saying. This is the moment to open your hands. You have been holding too much, gripping too tightly, carrying too many things that have become intertwined with your identity, your fear, your comfort, and your sense of control. Some of what you are holding is pain. Some of it is disappointment. Some of it is anger you never meant to keep but never fully released. Some of it is fear dressed up like wisdom. Some of it is a relationship, a memory, a version of the future, a coping mechanism, a habit, a pattern, a private resentment, a secret attachment, a need to be understood, a need to be right, a need to feel safe on your own terms. I know exactly what is in your hands, even if you have not fully named it. And I need you to understand something. You cannot receive what I am trying to place in your life while your hands remain clenched around what is draining you. Closed hands cannot receive. Tight fists cannot hold fresh oil. Gripping what wounds you will keep you from holding what heals you. That is not punishment. That is reality. You have been asking for peace while still clutching the source of unrest. You have been asking for clarity while still holding on to the very thing that clouds your spirit. You have been asking for freedom while your hands are still wrapped around old chains that feel familiar enough to mistake for bracelets. That is why I am speaking so directly now. I am not asking for symbolic surrender. I am asking for real release. I am asking you to stop romanticizing what has already become too costly. I am asking you to stop polishing the chains and calling them meaningful. I am asking you to stop treating emotional attachments like sacred objects when they are actually keeping your heart from breathing. This is the moment to open your hands. Not tomorrow. Not after one more sign. Not after one more emotional cycle. Not after one more attempt to make something work that has already shown you what it produces. Now, right here in my presence, I know opening your hands feels vulnerable. I know it can feel like loss. I know it can feel like standing in uncertainty without your usual backup plan. I know it can feel like letting go of something that once helped you survive. I know that some of what you are holding has history. It carries memories, meaning, familiarity, and emotional gravity. But history is not holiness, my child. Familiarity is not freedom. Emotional intensity is not always divine confirmation. Sometimes, what feels hardest to release is the very thing that has been quietly feeding your instability. That is why I need you to trust me more than your attachment. Trust me more than your fear of emptiness. Trust me more than the voice that says, if I let go, what will I have left? You will have me. You will have room. You will have space for healing. You will have breath where there was pressure. You will have peace where there was strain. You will have the beginning of clarity where there was constant internal noise. So I am inviting you into a very real act of surrender. Do not just nod at this in your mind. Do not just agree with the concept. Ask me plainly, Father, what am I still gripping that you are asking me to release? Then wait. Let the answer come. It may arrive as a name, a face, a habit, a memory, a resentment, a secret comfort, a recurring thought, a private obsession, a false hope, a stubborn fear. Whatever rises, do not swat it away. Do not argue with it. Do not say, maybe later. If it rises under my hand, pay attention. That is not random. That is revelation. And once I show you, do not keep negotiating. Open your hands. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to pray it out in broken sentences, do that. If you need to sit in silence and simply imagine placing it before me, do that. But do not keep clutching what I am asking you to surrender. This is a holy exchange, and it cannot happen with clenched fists. Open your hands, my child. Open them before fear talks you out of it. Open them before habit convinces you to hold on a little longer. Open them before comfort disguises itself as necessity. Open them, and let me take what you were never meant to carry forever. And I want to take you deeper now, because opening your hands is not only about letting go of what hurts, it is also about trusting what I will place there afterward. That is where many of your inner battles have lived. You have not only feared losing what you hold, you have feared what comes after the release. You have feared the silence after, the ending, the ache after the surrender, the unfamiliar emptiness after the habit is gone, the lonely space after the attachment loosens, the uncertain stretch after the boundary is set. I understand that fear. I do. But I need you to hear me. Empty hands in my presence are not a tragedy. They are a preparation. Empty hands are not abandonment. They are availability. They are readiness. They are how you make room for what is holy, clean, and life-giving. The enemy has taught you to fear emptiness because he knows that sacred space becomes dangerous to his grip. He wants you so full of clutter, noise, attachments, and emotional entanglement that you never experience the deep stillness where my peace can settle and my voice can become unmistakably clear. That is why opening your hands matters so much. It is not just about removing the wrong thing. It is about creating room for the right thing. It is about becoming available again. It is about letting your soul breathe. It is about no longer being emotionally handcuffed to what keeps you unstable. I want you to imagine a gardener with a crowded branch. The branch is alive, but it is tangled. Dead leaves cling to living stems. Old growth blocks new buds. The branch looks full, but the fullness is deceptive. It is crowded, not fruitful. And until the unnecessary is removed, the healthy cannot fully flourish. That is what I am doing in you. I am not trying to leave you bare for the sake of loss. I am pruning for life. I am clearing for growth. I am making room for stronger peace, cleaner joy, deeper trust, sharper discernment, healthier love, more honest prayer, and a steady walk with me. But I need your cooperation. I need your hands open. So let me make this practical, because this is not the time for vague inspiration. This is the time for action. If it is a relationship that keeps pulling you out of alignment, step back. If it is a secret habit that keeps numbing your spirit, cut off the access point. If it is resentment, say the prayer of release even if your emotions lag behind. If it is a fantasy of how your life must look, surrender the script. If it is a need to control outcomes, admit it and lay it down. If it is shame, stop clutching it like penance and let my grace wash it off you. If it is a version of yourself you are afraid to outgrow, bless that season and release it. Do not keep petting what needs to be placed on the altar. Do not keep revisiting what I am asking you to relinquish. Move. Act. Respond. Let this moment become real in your life, not just emotional in your heart. And once you do, once you begin opening your hands for real, you will feel what so many fear but few discover until after obedience. The release may sting for a moment, but the relief is deeper than the sting. The letting go may bring tears, but the air that enters afterward feels cleaner. The first few moments may feel vulnerable, but soon you begin to realize you are no longer carrying the exhausting weight of maintaining what should have already been surrendered. That is freedom beginning. That is peace entering. That is what I want for you. So do not wait until your hands are forced open by collapse. Open them willingly in my presence. Offer what you love, what you fear, what you resent, what you crave, what you regret, what you cannot control, what you keep reversing, what you keep protecting. Lay it down. Then stay. Do not snatch it back. Do not pick it up again in your thoughts an hour later and call that being responsible. Leave it with me. Let your hands learn a new posture. Let them learn surrender. Let them learn trust. Let them learn what it feels like to stop gripping life so tightly that peace cannot enter. This is the moment to open your hands, my child. It is not too late. It is not too small. It is not too costly. It is exactly the doorway you need right now. Open them, and let me fill what you finally make room for.